In my last video titled Why Go 95% Vegan, subtitled Why Going Vegetarian Isn't Good Enough for Your Health, I talked about the fact that vegetarians tend to become heavily reliant on dairy products in their diet to provide primarily protein. I pointed out that dairy products contain components such as casein, insulin-like growth factor, and galactose, which have all been tied to various cancers, in addition to other diseases rooted in inflammation. Today I want to take that one step further and talk to you about the dangers of dietary cholesterol. Cholesterol only comes from animal products, and in the case of vegetarians, they get most of their cholesterol from eggs. As you may be aware, the 2015 USDA Dietary Guidelines minimize the importance of dietary cholesterol. What that implied was that eating dietary cholesterol does not really enhance your risk for developing atherosclerosis, which leads to heart attacks and strokes. The USDA report said that available evidence demonstrates that dietary cholesterol has no appreciable impact on blood cholesterol. I decided to spend some time with my friend Dr. James Kenny, a nutrition research specialist and biochemistry expert, to get his thoughts on where the USDA may have been coming from when they came out with these latest dietary guidelines that diminish the importance of dietary cholesterol in the diet. Let's see what he had to say.
As far as the dietary guidelines are concerned, I like most of what they say. But what they didn't say very much about was cholesterol, and what little they did say about cholesterol, that dietary cholesterol has no appreciable effect on serum cholesterol levels, is not science-based evidence. Because the science-based, the best studies from carefully controlled clinical trials clearly show that if you increase dietary cholesterol, that it does have an appreciable effect on serum cholesterol.
So what studies do you think they were looking at when they...
Well, I think the studies they looked at were the studies that were funded by the American the Egg Nutrition Center or the American Egg Board, or maybe the Dairy Council or the Cattlemen's Association, because they want dietary cholesterol to go away. And I'm sure they've given some generous contributions to various, maybe the Heart Association, and certainly a lot of nutrition professors get funding from, the food industry. And they like research that shows their products, what they're selling, in the best light. And since there's no way to get dietary cholesterol out of meat or eggs, they don't really want cholesterol to be an issue. And I think that's the motivation. I can't tell you why people do things that don't make sense, but I can tell you that claiming that dietary cholesterol has no appreciable effect on serum cholesterol level is beyond naive.
What does appreciable mean?
That's right. It's a weasel word. It means whatever you want it to. So if you say, well, so if cholesterol went from 350 down to 300, that wouldn't have an appreciable effect on serum cholesterol. Well, okay, I might be able to say that's probably correct. It's not going to make much difference. But if you went from 500 milligrams of cholesterol down to 0, that would cause a huge drop in serum cholesterol level. There was a study done at Harvard University by Dr. Sachs. It was a relatively simple study. He just took some lacto-vegetarians who obviously they don't eat meat, they don't eat eggs, they did have some dairy products. Their average dietary cholesterol intake was a little less than 100 milligrams a day, so less than a third what the average American eats. And all he did is have them eat one jumbo egg a day for a few weeks. After a few weeks, he checked their cholesterol levels again, and the average increase in LDL cholesterol from one egg a day was 12%. There was also a significant increase in ApoB And HDL cholesterol didn't go up at all. It actually dropped a little bit.
So from a clinical outcomes perspective, what did that tell us?
Well, it tells us that in all probability the risk of cardiovascular disease from one egg a day in somebody who starts out on a very low cholesterol diet is likely to increase their risk by at least a third over a lifetime, probably closer to 50%.
That's pretty appreciable. It is really unfortunate to see the USDA having apparently succumbed to political pressures in writing these dietary guidelines for the American public. But as Dr. Kenny pointed out, dietary cholesterol is still a health danger. And in those people who have a naturally low cholesterol diet, giving them just one egg a day increases their risk for heart attack or stroke up to 50%. So again, if you were thinking that just going vegetarian is good enough for your health, I really implore you to think again about that and consider going 95% vegan instead. You can find our book, The 95% Vegan Diet, on Amazon.com or through any bookstore. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next video.